Hello, welcome back everyone to the Linguasphere Academy Podcast. I'm Alex, and I was just telling Sam before we started that I had the most interesting conversation at a coffee shop this morning.
Oh yeah? What happened?
I ran into a neighbor I don't know very well. We started with the usual small talk, how are you, nice weather, and then he mentioned something about the news, some story about new environmental policies.
And?
And I realized I didn't have the words to really talk about it. I can say yes and interesting, but I couldn't really share my thoughts. It got me thinking about how often news comes up in conversations.
It's actually all the time, isn't it? At work, with friends, with family, someone always says, "Did you hear about?" or "What do you think about?"
Exactly. And for English learners, that can be really stressful. News topics feel big and complicated. The vocabulary is specific, and you're expected to have an opinion, sometimes quickly.
So today, we're going to fix that. Our topic is how to talk about news in English, and we're going to make it simple, practical, something you can actually use.
We'll talk about the vocabulary you need, the phrases that help you share your opinion, and how to handle conversations when you don't know much about the topic.
Because honestly, that happens to everyone, native speakers included. You can't know everything about every news story.
As always, we'll speak clearly and keep it friendly. This is a conversation between friends. By the end, you'll feel much more confident joining in when news comes up.
So get comfortable. Let's start with the basics. What kind of news do people talk about?
There's so much. Local news, things happening in your city or town, national news, what's happening in your country, international news, stories from around the world.
Then there are different topics: politics, the economy, health and science, technology, entertainment and celebrities, sports, weather, environment.
You don't need to know everything about all of them. Most people have a few areas they care about and follow. For me, it's technology and environment news.
For me, it's health and human interest stories, stories about people. So when a news conversation starts, I can contribute in those areas.
That's a good strategy. You don't have to be an expert on everything, just know what you care about. Now, let's learn some essential vocabulary for talking about news.
First, the news itself. You can say the news as a general term. I watch the news every evening. Did you see the news this morning?
A specific story is called a news story or just a story. There was an interesting story about climate change.
The person who reports the news is a journalist or reporter. The person on TV is an anchor.
Where you get your news, TV, newspaper, website, app, is a news source. I get my news from online sources.
A headline is the title of a news story, the big words at the top. I just read the headlines this morning.
An article is the full written story. I read an interesting article about education.
A breaking news story is something that just happened. It's very new. They interrupted the show with breaking news.
Now, let's talk about verbs we use with news.
You read the news, watch the news, listen to the news on radio or podcasts. Follow the news means you pay attention regularly. I follow the news closely.
You hear about a story. Did you hear about the election results? You see a story. I saw something about that online.
You check the news. I check the news on my phone every morning.
Now, let's talk about how to start a conversation about news. These are phrases you can use.
Did you hear about? This is the most common. Did you hear about the new law they passed?
Have you been following the story about the floods?
What do you think about the new environmental policies?
Did you see the news about the election?
There's an interesting article in the paper about remote work.
I read that they're building a new hospital downtown. These are natural ways to bring up news in conversation.
Now, what if someone starts the conversation? They ask you, "Did you hear about X?" What do you say?
If you have heard about it, you can say, "Yes, I did. It's terrible, isn't it? Yes, I saw that. What do you think? I read about that this morning. Crazy."
If you haven't heard about it, you can say, "No, I haven't. What happened? I missed that. Tell me more. I don't follow the news closely. What's going on?"
It's completely fine to say you don't know. People are usually happy to fill you in.
Now let's talk about sharing your opinion. This is where conversations get interesting.
You can say, I think the government should do more.
In my opinion, the media is exaggerating.
It seems to me that people are really concerned about this.
I feel like this is going to affect a lot of people.
I'm not sure, but I think the new law starts next month.
Honestly, I think we need to wait for more information.
You can also agree or disagree with someone.
To agree, I agree completely. That's exactly what I think. You're right. I think so too.
To disagree politely. I see what you mean, but I think that's an interesting point. Personally, I feel that I'm not sure I agree. In my view, I see it differently. I think
Notice how we soften disagreement. We don't just say, you're wrong, we acknowledge their point first.
that's important. Conversation isn't about winning, it's about sharing perspectives. Now, let's talk about how to ask for more information. This keeps the conversation going.
What exactly happened?
When did this happen?
Where did this happen?
Who is involved?
Why do you think they did that?
How is this going to affect people?
These questions show you're interested, and they help you understand the story better.
Now, let's practice with a real conversation. I'll start. So, did you hear about the new cafe that opened downtown?
No, I didn't. When did that happen?
I think it opened last week. I saw an article about it online. Apparently, they have really good coffee.
Oh, nice. I should check it out. Do you know what street it's on?
Main Street, near the bookstore. I'm thinking of going this weekend.
Maybe I'll join you. I love trying new coffee places.
Sounds good. I'll text you. See? That's a whole conversation about a local news story. It's not heavy or political, just everyday news.
Now, let's try a more serious topic.
Did you hear about the storms in the South?
Yes, I saw that on the news. It looks really bad. Are you okay? Do you have family there?
No, I don't, but I feel terrible for the people affected.
Me too. I read that they're asking for donations. I'm thinking of sending something.
That's a good idea. Do you know which organizations are helping?
There's a local charity collecting supplies. I can send you the link.
Please do. I'd like to help too.
Again, a natural conversation. They share information, express feelings, and even make a plan to help.
Now let's talk about how to handle conversations when you don't know much about the topic. This happens to everyone.
First, it's okay to say you don't know. I haven't been following that closely. What's the latest?
Second, you can ask questions. That shows interest even if you don't have information.
How did that start? What are people saying about it? Has this happened before?
Third, you can connect it to something you do know. This reminds me of something similar that happened in my country.
Fourth, you can share a general feeling. That sounds concerning. That's really interesting. I can imagine that's difficult for people.
You don't need to be an expert. You just need to be present in the conversation.
Now let's talk about some common news topics and vocabulary for each.
Weather news, storm, hurricane, flood, drought, forecast, temperature, rainfall. They're predicting heavy rain this weekend. The storm caused a lot of damage.
Health news, vaccine, virus, outbreak, research, study, findings. There's a new study about sleep and health. They're recommending people get the flu shot.
Technology news, new device, app update, innovation, social media, privacy, data. Did you see the new phone they released? There's a lot of discussion about AI these days.
Entertainment news, movie release, celebrity, award show, concert, album, tour. I heard they're making a sequel to that movie. Did you see what that actor said in the interview?
Sports news, game, match, tournament, win, lose, score, player. Did you catch the game last night? They won the championship for the first time.
Economy news, prices, inflation, cost of living, jobs, unemployment, business. Have you noticed how much prices have gone up? There's news about a new company opening here.
You don't need to know all the words. Just pick a few areas you're interested in and learn those.
Now let's talk about the difference between facts and opinions. This is important in news conversations.
Facts are things that can be proven. The election was on Tuesday. The storm reached 100 miles per hour.
Opinions are what someone thinks or feels. I think the new law is unfair. In my opinion, the response was too slow.
In conversations, people mix both. It's good to know the difference, and it's okay to ask, is that a fact or is that your opinion?
That's actually a great question. It shows you're thinking critically.
Now let's talk about how to handle disagreements, because news topics can be sensitive.
If someone has a different opinion, you can say, "That's an interesting way to look at it. I never thought of it like that. I see your point. I guess I see it differently."
You don't have to change their mind. You don't have to agree. You just have to be respectful.
If the conversation gets too heated, it's okay to change the subject. "Well, it's a complicated issue. Anyway, how was your weekend?"
That's a natural way to move on.
Now let's practice a longer conversation. Let's imagine two friends, Maria and Ahmed, talking about a news story.
Maria, did you hear about the new environmental law they're proposing?
Ahmed saw something about it, but I didn't read the details. What's it about?
Maria, they want to reduce plastic use in restaurants. No more plastic straws or containers.
Ahmed, oh, interesting. What do you think about it?
Maria, I think it's a good idea. Plastic is terrible for the environment, but I worry it might be hard for small restaurants.
Ahmed, that's a good point. I read that some places are worried about the cost of switching to better materials.
Maria, yeah, I hope the government helps them somehow, maybe with money or time to adjust.
Ahmed, that would make sense. In my country, they did something similar, and it took a few years for everyone to adapt.
Maria, really? How did it go?
Honestly, it was hard at first, but now everyone's used to it, and the beaches are much cleaner.
Maria, that's encouraging. I hope it works here too.
See how natural that is? They share information, give opinions, ask questions, and even share personal experience.
Now let's talk about how to practice talking about news.
First, choose one news source in English, a website, an app, a YouTube channel. Spend 5 minutes a day reading or watching.
Second, pick one story that interests you. Don't try to follow everything, just one story.
Third, learn 3 key words from that story. Write them down. Practice saying them.
Fourth, try to summarize the story in your own words, out loud, to yourself, to your cat.
Fifth, form an opinion. What do you think about it? How do you feel? Why?
Sixth, talk about it with someone, a language partner, a friend, in the comments of this video.
Seventh, listen to how others talk about news. Pay attention to the phrases they use, the questions they ask.
Over time, this gets easier. You build vocabulary, you build confidence, you build the ability to join any conversation.
Now, let's learn some phrases for when you're not sure about something, because that happens a lot with news.
I'm not an expert, but
From what I understand,
correct me if I'm wrong, but
I haven't read the full article, but I'm still trying to understand this, but
these phrases show humility. They show you're open to learning. People appreciate that.
now let's talk about fake news and misinformation. This is a big topic these days.
You might hear someone say, "That's fake news," or "I don't trust that source." These are common phrases.
If you're not sure if something is true, you can say, "Is that from a reliable source? I've heard different things about that. I'm not sure if that's accurate."
It's okay to be skeptical. It's okay to wait for more information.
Now, let's put everything together with one more example, a conversation about a positive news story.
Did you see that story about the teacher who won an award?
No, I missed that. Tell me about it.
There's a teacher at the local school. She's been teaching for 40 years, and they gave her an award for her dedication.
Wow, 40 years? That's amazing. Imagine how many students she's helped.
I know, right? The article said she still loves her job and has no plans to retire.
That's so inspiring. We need more teachers like that.
Definitely. It's nice to hear good news for a change.
Yeah, sometimes the news is so negative. Stories like this make me feel better.
Me too. Okay, I have to go, but let's talk later. Sounds good. Bye.
See? Positive news, positive conversation. It doesn't have to be heavy.
So here's your challenge for this week. Find one news story in English and talk about it.
It can be any topic, local, international, sports, entertainment, something that actually interests you.
Read or watch it, learn a few keywords, then either record yourself talking about it or tell someone about it.
If you're brave, leave a comment on this video telling us about the story and what you think.
We'll read them. We'll respond. We want to hear from you.
Remember, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know everything. You just have to try.
Talking about news is a skill. Like any skill, it improves with practice.
So start small. One story, one conversation. That's all it takes.
Thank you for spending this time with us. We hope you feel more ready to join news conversations.
We'll be back next week with another topic to help you on your journey.
Until then, keep reading, keep listening, and keep talking about the world around you.
And hey, before you go, if this episode was helpful, please hit that subscribe button. It's free and it helps us keep making content for you.
Yes, please. And leave us a comment. Tell us about a news story you're following right now. What's happening? What do you think about it?
We read every comment. We love hearing from you.
Subscribe, comment, share. It helps more learners find us.
Thanks again, everyone. Now go find a news story and talk about it.
Bye.